computer. We're now recording.
All right,
Okay,
terrific.
yeah, you're recording, so I guess that takes care of
Okay.
that. So we have several items on this agenda. Would anybody like to add anything?
Let's go with what we have.
We have tribute. Okay, we have somebody else, 11. Tribute to Representative John Lewis, applying for an absentee ballot, COVID-19 testing, police reform, Portland, Marilyn Pierre for judge, the postcard project, and the Montgomery County online Biden rally, which is Sunday, July 26th at 4 o'clock. So those are our items. Anybody want to add anything?
I don't have any information on it, but isn't this the week that the eviction notices start in the Baltimore area? I don't know if anyone has.
Have a better idea about that.
I read something about that today. I think this week is right.
So we can add that.
Can we say that next time, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, Alan.
Okay, next meeting. Anybody want to add anything else? So, would anybody like to talk about a tribute to John Lewis?
I never met John Lewis.
Well,
I wanted to. I was going to call his office and hope to go down there and get a selfie.
Well, I met John Lewis in 1963. I was living in Syracuse, New York, and I was a member of CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, and one of the people at Syracuse who is no longer with us, Rudy Lombard, who is National Vice Chair of CORE, who's also a graduate student, he invited John Lewis to attend one of our meetings. And it was after John was badly beaten up, and I still have vivid memories how swollen his face was. And I had the good fortune to exchange some words about housing discrimination with him. So, and he was I thought then he was very humble and seemed very kind that he came to talk to us. So
That's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to a Chris Van Hollen fundraiser where he was the principal speaker at that, and he was a very, very lovely man, you know, just like humble and
Right.
wonderful. So.
Did anybody happen to see the tribute to him last night on?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I thought
It's
that
wonderful.
Yeah, it was actually quite wonderful.
Yeah.
Did anybody, excuse me, did anybody watch the Kent State program last night? That was something powerful from years ago. It was on PBS at 10 o'clock.
I'd
They
seen
did
it
the whole
before.
hour of the shootings at Kent State, you know, after.
Yeah, I'd seen it before. So.
Oh,
I've seen that too a while back. I think that Dio said that her godchild took a picture with John Lewis. She has a picture of him with, you know, they're taking a picture together.
Oh, I think that they put it on Facebook. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that he said that was most impactful for me is he talked about good trouble and how we should all try to strive to get into good trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Be trouble. Good trouble. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
good
cartoon
trouble.
today in the Post was wonderful. We should cut it out and keep it because that was
yeah.
so nice.
Yes.
I watched a couple of tributes to him, and almost everybody said that they would really like the reauthorization of the Voting Rights Act.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be wonderful.
Yes.
And then to rename the
bridge.
Edmund Pettus
Yeah.
Bridge.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
I think they'll probably do that.
Oh, I think so. That'll happen. Yeah, that'll happen.
I know, I'm very impressed. In 1963, he was only 23, and he was one of the speakers at the March in Washington.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's astounding.
I have to tell you, I was quite sad when I heard about John Lewis's death, because it made me realize that I've gotten older. It's,
he's
you know, when
also
you
the
see
last-
people you know who have died,
Yeah.
it made me realize how fragile life is, and we have to do all we can while we're still around.
Well, that morning I woke up and the television, unfortunately, I forgot to turn it off and it was sort of blasting. And that was the first thing I
Oh.
heard when I opened my eyes. And
Yeah.
I burst into tears. I just, it was
Yeah.
just sudden, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Anyhow, and he's the last of the 6, you know,
yep,
they're all
Yeah.
gone.
Right.
The end of an era.
yeah.
And then the reverend before him, what's his name? Vivian,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it
The
is.
night
Oh, yeah, the minister, yeah.
the minister, just within such a short
84
time.
years old.
Mhm.
Well, you can imagine the shock in the house when they lose Elijah Cummings and John, you know.
Right. Oh, terrible. Yeah.
And what's his name? The guy from Florida that cannot tell the difference between Louis.
I know. Isn't that disgusting?
Marco
Oh.
Rubio.
Oh,
They all look alike.
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
God.
So bad. So bad.
I mean,
It's so embarrassing. So
Yeah.
may his memory be a blessing and may they pass
Yeah.
by sack.
amen,
Yeah.
Yeah,
amen.
absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah.
So the next topic, I think Rosie actually suggested applying for an absentee ballot. Would you like to talk about that a little bit, Rosie?
Yeah, well, actually, I tried to apply online, and they told me that that my address didn't exist. But I have been voting since I moved here, so I downloaded the application, and I am going to mail it tomorrow. And I feel that there are many people that we need to get hold of that may not have computers or do not have printers, and we need to get them the application so they can do this. I don't know how we're going to do it, but Sandy Zimmett is working on doing this in Leisure World, and we are going to have a place where we can distribute things in every building. And then I don't know what we're going to do with the individual houses, but we work out something. But people outside the fence really ought to, you know, there are a lot of them that we need to get to somehow.
It
Well,
became-
Rosie, if we get a mail-in ballot, then that's it. We can't vote in person, right? They scratch your name off.
Yes, but I think that they can hand it in at the last minute if they want to do that.
Yeah.
If they, you know,
But nobody's going to want to line up with the COVID.
well, I would hope, yes. I would think they'd be silly to, yes.
Right.
And most of us are doing this anyway because we always work outside the polls. We've been doing it for years and years
Yeah.
and years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a question. When I applied for the primary, I also submitted, I thought, an application for the actual election, but I don't know whatever happened with that.
I did the same thing.
did the
Okay,
same
I would
thing.
call, there's a phone number that we can give you where you could call Montgomery County Board of Elections and ask them that question. Because I think a
Okay,
lot of people may have done the same thing, because you could check on either one.
Will they take your address if they don't have it, or is that a different number?
Oh,
Well, they'll look-
it's the
look
one
it up.
what I called before where they made you wait a long time, but maybe they won't be as
Oh.
busy right now.
Yeah.
It's one of those 240777s.
So it became very confusing because the governor said that
Yeah,
they were going to mail out applications for absentee
Yes.
ballots
Yeah.
to everybody. And the question is, when will that come and how long do you have to wait?
yeah,
So the people from the Board of Elections in Montgomery County, which had lots of problems in the primary,
yeah.
it took 2 weeks for them to count all the votes because they had a COVID-19 protocol. They collected the ballots and they had to put them aside for 24 hours before they would even touch them. They would like you to either text, there's a text code. You can use your phone and request an absentee ballot, or you can go online and do it at the website. So there's all these options. And I don't think it's really clear to anybody and the government if they're going to send something, when it would be really easy for them to just send a ballot to every registered voter.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, they don't want that, probably. They don't want that. much
They want to
turnout.
confuse, they want to frustrate and confuse.
Yeah, of course.
But
So
it's not
what-
going to be, it's not going to be like that in Maryland. I mean, Maryland's going to vote for Biden. It's going to vote for all the incumbent Congress people. There'll be a couple of races, school board and judges, which will be more contentious, but
Mhm.
we're an easy jurisdiction for collecting votes, so they shouldn't
Now,
be harder.
are we
Mhm.
voting online or are we voting to get a form online that we print out?
You're applying to get a form.
Fine to get a-
For, that's what I thought, yeah. I don't want to vote online. I want the form.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
We're not voting online yet, but they do that I guess, in Washington
Yeah,
State
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
like
In
I know
California, I think they do it as well.
I know people who do, but I don't want to do it. I want the paperwork.
So
Right.
should we be doing that sooner than later, or what do we recommend?
So you guys know Dr. Z, Board of Education, the Board of Elections,
Yes,
Dr. Zelaya.
yeah,
He's-
Oh, yeah, I remember meeting.
yeah, for training, yeah,
They called him Dr. Z. He said,
yeah.
I don't know, did we have him on here? I don't know if we had him on here. In any case, he said that you should do it sooner rather than later,
I would agree, yeah,
because then they get all backed up there.
yeah,
So he said do it sooner rather than later. Hey, Stan.
yeah.
So we
We
go
need to-
online to get the address to, okay.
We need to find out what we should do to contact people in other states, because you sound like we're not worried about Maryland.
we're
And
not.
probably that's true, but that leaves us free to work on other states. And we need to find out how to do that.
Mhm.
I think we've got some ideas to talk about that.
We do, we definitely do.
So I think
Good to see you, Bob.
we'll send out some information about
Right.
absentee ballots.
That would be great.
Yeah, how to write away, where to write.
So the next topic was COVID-19 testing. I don't remember who recommended that. Was that you too, Rosie?
No,
No, Gail's been doing that.
Oh, Gail. Okay,
Yeah.
Gail, you want to,
that's what I thought, it was Gail, not me.
would you
You
like
can do it,
to?
Rosie. Feel free. Okay, tell me how to get to
Share
it.
screen, right?
I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay,
If somebody will let me.
Good, press OK.
Okay.
I don't know how
I
to-
see a cute guy behind you.
Right now,
It has to be showing on your screen first, and then you can share it.
Oh, am I sharing?
you're not sharing yet.
Not
It
yet.
has to be
Not yet.
showing
But
on
you
your
can.
screen.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I thought I was sharing.
Which one?
Looks
There
like
you
it
go.
now.
There you go.
Okay, you can see it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Carolyn and then Montgomery County.
Okay, so I'm trying, hold on a second. All right, so I'm gonna just show this really quickly. Montgomery County, as you can see, oh. I don't think this is right, Craig. Where did you get this from? You know what?
What?
I'm supposed to
This-
be,
that
this
one
is,
was
this is,
based
this
off-
is an old one. This is a May. Okay, I'm gonna do test.
Oh.
Am I still sharing?
Yes.
No, you're not.
I
was
lost it.
sharing. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Pick one. So
Uh,
Microsoft Word.
You want us to come back while you figure?
No, I'm,
This one. Double-
what is that, Craig? I'm trying to show this.
That's it.
Okay,
Save, share.
share. Okay, do you see?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I did some research on testing here in Montgomery County. What we can do is not the same as other places or counties or states necessarily. Can you see my documentation there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Very well.
I'm gonna send this to, I guess, who do I send this to?
Everybody.
Henrik? Do I send it to you to send it out to everybody?
I'll be delighted.
You can
Okay.
just email it. See,
I'll
Yeah,
do
you can
that.
email it.
just email it to everyone. You have
Okay,
everybody's
I can do
email.
that. All right, so if you have any testing questions, that's the number you call for Montgomery County. We're talking Montgomery County. 240-777-1755. Who should get tested for COVID? Montgomery County recommends that everyone get tested. We have enough tests for everyone in this county. Even those who do not exhibit symptoms or have reason to suspect exposure should get tested. Where am I able to be tested and whom do I contact? There's 200 testing sites available throughout Maryland state. You can call 301-358-3564 to find out where one is near your home. The basics are you register on the Maryland website, you get a confirmation number, you will receive an email and or a text. Then you schedule a test. You choose your location, time, and date. They have something called pop-up testing site here in Montgomery County. So that information will be available on the website, and they are open between 2 and 6 p.m. There are permanent testing sites, such as in White Oak somewhere. I know they're at Wheaton Library and in Germantown. Their hours are between 8 and 11:30 a.m. They do morning testing, and the pop-ups do the afternoon. There are recreation centers, there's churches that are considered pop-ups. After you schedule your appointment, you will receive a second email confirming your appointment. What does the test consist of and what is the process? Generally, it involves a swab inserted into the back of the patient's nostrils. Most patients report minor temporary discomfort at most. My sister just had it before she had her surgery, and she said once you get over the shock, the pain is momentary.
The pain.
Yes, the pain. It's like, she said it's like a twinge. I guess Rosamond might have had the test too, right, Rosamond? Is Rosamond on here?
Yes.
I had one on last Tuesday.
Okay.
They had not really a pop-up. It was at the Silver Spring Civic Building. I went online and I got a number. It started at,
Okay.
I went there. It was a swab in the mouth. It wasn't up.
Yeah, a swab in the mouth.
Yep. That was the way mine was last Friday too.
And then I got the results back in 2 days.
Really? Because today's newspaper is talking about how long it's taking in Montgomery
That's
County.
amazing.
Well, if the demand surges, it's going to take longer. You see on the next question, how long does it take? Approximately 2 to 7 days, depending on the demand and the resources. Okay. In most cases,
You have to pay.
You don't have to pay.
you don't have to pay
No.
in most cases. Medicaid will cover the costs of the testing. Will my insurance cover the treatment? Insurance plans cover medically necessary treatment for disease, but the treatment may be subject to deductibles, co-payments, and co-insurance. If
They
I
asked
do
me
have,
if I had insurance. I said no. I didn't pay anything. So
Okay.
you don't have to have insurance. If you do have insurance, they can get it from the insurance company, but otherwise, the state pays for it.
that's correct.
Yeah, that's the discrepancy in the Latino community because a lot of them are fearful that they're going to be questioned and they're not heading to the facilities. So they're trying to get out more education with our county representatives that.
And they're dying.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so 70% of that community is not going in to be tested.
Yeah.
70% of our numbers here are Latino nowadays. What do I do while waiting? Stay at home, self-isolate. Wash your hands with soap. Limit your contact with pets and animals. I haven't seen that before. Wear a face covering when you're around others. Clean and disinfect touched objects and surfaces. Will my positive COVID-19 test results be reported to public health? Yes. That's the only way we can contact trace is to have those numbers. When can I be around others after COVID-19. Most people can follow the CDC's 3 conditions. It has been at least 10 days since you felt sick. It has been at least 3 days since you last had a fever without taking fever-reducing medicine, and all your other COVID-19 symptoms have gotten better. When you're around others, remember to keep 6 feet away and wear a face covering. How do I make an appointment at drive-ins? If you're interested, the information's there. And I will forward this to you. Will I be required to exit my car? No.
No, you're not.
What type of identification will be required? May include photo identification, driver's license, passport, social security card. Only patients 18 years and older will need to provide identification. And how long will I have to wait in line? If you have an appointment, you are encouraged to arrive at the testing site 15 minutes ahead of their scheduled time. This will ensure efficient movement through each step of the process. Okay. Where's my other thing, Craig?
So I just saw an article from the Baltimore Sun, like minutes ago.
Okay.
Maryland added to list of states whose residents must isolate before visiting New York. So because the infection rates are going up in Maryland,
Yeah,
New York doesn't want us.
right.
Go to New York, you've got to quarantine yourself
For
for
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
My friend just lost her brother, and if she's gonna go up there, she'll have to stay there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, my son in Boston was telling me that we have so many cases in Maryland. I thought we were one of the better states, but apparently not.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Can anyone hear me? We have a surge of 1,200 in 2 days.
Yes,
Right.
we were one of the best states, and the death rate is going,
Yeah,
infection rate is going up. And so you can say Dr. Travis from Montgomery County and 5 other public health officers wrote to the state government, to Hogan, and say, lock it down again.
Yeah, yeah.
The bars and the restaurants.
absolutely.
Wasn't there an article in today's Post to that effect?
Yes,
They announced
Yes,
it
it was.
yesterday, it was in today's paper.
yeah, it was today.
Gail has another point.
So some positive news, 6 reasons to be optimistic amid COVID-19 pandemic. This is from Harvard, a Harvard doctor. Therapeutic treatments such as clone antibodies are showing to be effective both to treat and prevent COVID-19. Rapid, low-cost saliva tests for COVID-19, there's the saliva one, are being developed and could be a game changer. Sounds like they've been developed and they're out. Universal mask wearing is catching on in most places, not everywhere. Consensus has emerged that airborne spread of the coronavirus is happening, and the WHO, World Health Organization, and other organizations are now recommending the use of healthy building strategies such as higher ventilation, better filtration, and the use of air cleaning devices. So get yourself an air. Does everybody have an air cleaner? We have 4.
With ionizer.
Oh,
No.
Several studies suggest that past exposure to common cold coronaviruses may help protect some people from COVID-19 infection. And the last one, vaccine trials seem to be working, and drug makers have said that they may be able to deliver doses as early as October. So there's some positiveness.
That's amazing.
Of all this negativeness.
Where would I get the air cleaner?
Oh, Bed Bath and Beyond,
Amazon.
Amazon. Yes.
okay.
Is there one that you would recommend, Gail?
Yeah, I don't have one either.
I would suggest you
either.
look at like Consumer Reports, or just check for a list of the top air cleaners. We found ones that run from about $50 on up, but you want one that can clean 70 to 90% of the air in a certain period of time for a certain size room. You can always move them to another room if you're going to be occupying more than one space. And like I said, you want to try to get an ionizer that actually filters the air. So we actually added an ionizer to our furnace.
Mm.
Do you think it's necessary to have an air cleaner if you live alone?
Well, I mean, I think any steps you could take to reduce, possible airborne and improve your air quality. I mean, if you're staying in, then
Yeah, yeah.
It takes the pollens out if you have allergies as well.
I don't have allergies, but.
But Barbara, I don't think you need one.
Yeah, no, Barbara, I'm glad you asked that. That's a good question. Yeah.
Craig actually is working part-time and he was able to find a smaller unit that has a charcoal filter and an ionizer
yes, it's on a desktop.
on a desktop, and
I found it a bit
Oh.
at Bath and Beyond has them.
Good Bath and Beyond.
Does Home Depot have these sort of things?
They probably should.
I think so.
Lowe's.
And most places will ship them to you in 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's helpful.
Yeah, go to Bed Bath and Beyond soon because they're going out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to buy
Yeah, half
now.
the world is.
Right.
And be aware how much the man that owns Home Depot gave to Trump. I would say if you could
Oh,
go somewhere
really?
else like Stroh Snyder's do
I
it.
didn't
Yeah, I
know
heard that already. I heard that, yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Home
hundreds of
Depot is
millions,
Republican.
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Speaking about Big Red Baboon, he just said that it's going to get much worse before it gets better. He just said that. Remember,
Oh.
he's been doing the Goody Goody show? Well, he just said it's going to get much worse before it gets better.
Oh, goody.
I wanted to say a little bit about the vaccines that I heard on the radio. They
Okay.
had very successful vaccine trials in Great Britain with 1,000 people. They are now doing one with 10,000 people, and then the next they're going to do it with 100,000 people in U.S. So
Wow.
it's moving right along, and it's being very successful.
Yes,
That's
Keisha,
great.
I heard that as well. About up to 160,000 people are needed to test and trial for different vaccines in the U.S. That's good news.
Mhm.
Very good news.
Amazing.
Any other comments before we go to the next topic? Okay, the next topic was on police reform, and I don't know who recommended that one.
I threw it up there just because it was in the news and there were some things in Montgomery County. You know, they passed legislation to create a policing advisory commission, and they just interviewed some applicants for that. I don't think they've had their first meeting yet. One of the interesting thing is they want all the people who applied to go to the Citizens Police Academy or the Police Citizens Academy and learn how the police do their job. So that's an interesting thing. I think the way they set it up is that one council member, out of the 9 council members, they could each recommend somebody, and the county executive did 4. And there's some police officer representation or non-voting. And they're supposed to look at Montgomery County's police procedures and make recommendations for changes. And all of this follows, a whole history of, police brutality and non-accountability and no transparencies, but especially after George Floyd died. And it's sort of, tip of tongue for most of the people on who are in the county government. And then there's some organizations not unlike ours, like Tacoma Park Mobilization and the Silver Spurs Coalition, that want to defund the police. They want to transfer money from the police to social services, to mental health. Some of the more radical ideas was for them the police shouldn't carry guns and we should have less police. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyhow, it's an issue that was out there. Everybody's making suggestions. There's going to be a lot of movement in the General Assembly in Annapolis in January, where they're going to try to pass laws to at least make the records public. If a police officer does something bad, gets disciplined, he wouldn't be able to go in another jurisdiction without having that record public. So you wouldn't be able to hire a bad cop who came from Baltimore or came from Montgomery County, came from DC or from Chicago. So just throwing it out the agenda.
Pennsylvania just passed the law to establish a database for
good.
policemen. Mhm.
For Pennsylvania.
And then Biden said that, you know, he gave a speech on sort of police accountability and transparency. And he said that as president, he would pick up the work that he did in the Obama administration. They had a task force on 21st century policing, and that would talk about national registry for bad cops, how many people
Good idea.
filed and how many people died, use of force recommendations, body cam recommendations, and you know, something else. So he's 100% in on sort of getting back on track where Obama left it 4 years ago.
So, Alan, are you someone I could contact regarding policing in Montgomery County? Because my church is forming a committee now. We had a forum of things that, and from that forum, we have 2 action groups, policing and voting. And so I'm collecting information on policing.
I can help you get some information for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And then the person on the county council who's most associated with this is Will Jawando.
Will Jawando.
Okay.
Even though most of them have, they're pretty unanimous when it comes to these kinds of the racial equity, the police accountability. They want to have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Montgomery County. Montgomery's racial history is pretty sordid.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's a slave, it's a slave state. Montgomery County was a slave state. There were a couple lynchings, 2 or 3 lynchings in the history. So they're trying to clean all of that up, changing of all the Confederate streets, named after Confederate heroes.
I hope so, yeah.
Like Jubal Early.
Yeah, terrible.
And Road. And you know, E. Brookley School. And they want to change, they want to, question is, goes too far. They want to change the name of Richard Montgomery School, who seemed to be a pretty nice guy. He married a woman who owned slaves, and so they've been holding that against him. Montgomery County is named after Richard Montgomery, and there's 6 or 7 other counties in the country. And if they want to change the name of Montgomery, Alabama, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, Montgomery County, Maryland, you have to ask, where is it going to stop? And I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think I heard that Trader Joe's wants to change the name of some of its products.
Oh, yeah, there's an article in today's paper about that.
There was, yeah.
Well, because, they had things like Trader Jose.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going,
Trader Mohammed, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, they thought they were being cutesy. It turned out it backfired on them. So
they'll go the way of Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben.
Right, well, that's good.
Eskimo pie.
Yeah, Eskimo pie.
Hey, don't touch that. I like that.
Forgot about that.
Is this Eskimo pie?
Eskimo pie.
Any other comments about police reform?
I have a question. I don't know if it's exactly police report. Well, what, if anything, can we do about those troops that are being sent to cities
Oh my God,
that
yes.
snatch people off the streets? I have a friend in Portland. His son's friend was snatched up, and he was just walking down the street. They kept him for 2 days. They interrogated him, but they couldn't get anywhere because he wasn't doing anything. He was nobody, just a kid.
Well, that's our next topic, actually, which is on Portland. I brought that topic up, but I think others probably want to discuss it too. So, Kako, you just hit on something. So you want to talk any more about that?
No, is there anything we can do? Or, I mean, how can you do this?
Well, my own solution is to go outside the gate at both gates and stop the traffic on Georgia Avenue and Connecticut Avenue and not stop the city's cold, and then they'll pay attention. This man is out of order. We're in the path of Nazism.
That's right.
We are.
That's right.
So
We should all be enraged.
it sounded like, they asked Biden that last night. He was on Joy Reid's new program. She started.
Yeah, that was good.
And, the solution for most people, I heard Maxine Waters talk about it too. And she said, vote him out of there. That's really the only solution.
That's too late.
Well, I know, but it takes so long for the Congress to do its thing. And then you've got to get the Republicans in the Senate to agree with the Democrats want to do. You can't really even have a hearing unless somebody, agrees on the other side. So they're sort of hamstrung about things that are happening this quickly. He said, the White House, Trump said yesterday at the White House that, they're focusing on cities with Democratic mayors.
Mayor, yeah.
Right, he was going after Democrats.
Right.
And Chicago is next.
But isn't it in
I'd
the,
like to make I'd like to make an observation. I did see that the good people of Portland had a group of mothers.
Yeah.
Mad moms.
Yeah,
Right,
and they
right,
confused
right.
themselves between the federal troops or Nazis and their children who were protesting. And I thought that was a very good and strong message that, don't mess with a mother. Jesus H.
Right.
Christ.
So they didn't pay attention to that because right after that, they tear gassed them.
that's right, that's
Yeah,
right.
but that, if you really want to see it resound, you tear gas a mother and see what people say about that shit.
Well, they did that and nobody's saying anything, right?
Right. I mean, this is Nazi Germany all over again.
That's right, that's right.
Correct.
Is
And
it in the Constitution that you can't have unnamed people do that, or
No,
I don't know what you?
it's not legal. It's just not legal.
Well,
Right,
that's-
but
that's-
is it
that's-
spelled out in the Constitution? You can't,
No,
Okay.
that's
All
not,
laws are.
it's not in the Constitution,
okay.
but people
Thought maybe it was.
people like to
Well,
protest.
Yeah, I have this question. Who are these people? I mean, is there like a
Right.
private military force
Yeah.
under Homeland Security?
They-
Or is
they-
this,
No, we
They're-
don't know
they're-
who they are.
is this Eric Prince, Betsy DeVos's brother, who
No.
has a private military?
No,
It's Ken
no. So-
Cuccinelli as well.
So what it is, it's a combination of the Border Patrol
Border Patrol.
and people
They
from
said
Department of Corrections. We've
Yeah,
got
but-
enough paramilitary people, within the government that they can just order them to do that. So that's
But
what,
why, they should have a badge on that says who they are, but see, they're so
No,
sneaky.
you're
That's what's so
supposed to, you're
scary.
required to do that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I don't know,
You have
I
to
don't
bring
know
it in
that-
the open.
I don't know that they are required to do
Yes,
that.
they are. All people in the position
I
of
don't
authority
know
have
either.
to be identifiable.
Show me that law.
I'll be happy to.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because I think other people would be saying that big time.
Right.
I
I mean,
No,
you should have to
Yeah,
show
they're
a
suing
badge.
them.
Even police have to show a badge when they arrest somebody, right?
All right.
You have the right to ask them.
Yeah.
But Trump's above the law. He's the president. He just does it without.
But I did
Well,
notice
he
that
just
they
gets
did
away with
have a
everything.
situation
He's
where
got-
they
he's got
said
away.
to the protesters, once the protesters asked for a lawyer, they released him immediately.
I didn't hear that. I thought they put him in the truck and left.
That's what they're right.
When they asked for a lawyer, they let him go immediately. That's what
So,
I didn't hear that.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
don't,
Listen,
we don't know all the details. It's still kind of secret.
Mhm.
It's happening
They,
happening in dark when they're, driving up and just pulling people off the street and throwing
Oh, it must have been terrifying.
away.
yeah.
So we don't know enough and the Congress doesn't know enough. They've asked for a briefing. They know as much as we do right now. So it's a bad situation, but evidently it's the only thing that Trump has.
Right, he wouldn't stop it, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
gotta
but that'd be terrible. It's terrible.
He's got to do the law and order thing to try to make some sort of convincing argument for his reelection because it's not going well for him. So
Right.
And Howard, I think, had a couple of emails that I got about this issue. And I think Jamie Raskin has also been trying to deal with it as well. Because it is a violation of the Constitution. Now,
Exactly. Exactly.
Alan, you're an attorney.
Yeah, we couldn't on now.
for the time being, yes.
Yeah.
So you
I'll
could,
pick him up real soon.
you could fill us in. Isn't this a violation of the Constitution or the First Amendment?
Well, you're supposed to have, you can't be picked off the street without any reason and just sort of held without any rights or the ability to call an attorney and things like that. So it's unclear what they're doing and what kind of justification they're using.
Well, the ACLU,
People to peaceably assemble.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
of them are
that's-
peaceably assembling.
That's the first one, yes.
Yeah.
I was talking about just snatching people off the street, and that's
Right, and they drove off with him. I mean, they didn't put him out when people yelled.
right.
That guy in Chicago.
So,
The same with
Portland.
my friend's son's friend. He was just walking. He wasn't demonstrating. He was walking downtown Portland. And boof.
Right.
He was
Right.
doing nothing illegal.
Did they
What?
give him a chance to make a phone call?
What was that?
No. They
Wow.
kept him for 2 days
Oh,
and
No,
then they let him go.
That's not right. At least he
That's
should be able to make a
terrible.
phone call.
What was his ethnic origin? Was he black? Was he white? Was he Hispanic?
He's white. He's a white guy.
White guy. Mhm.
He's white.
Yeah, they want to play Antifa now. They think everybody's from Antifa.
Yeah.
And they want to scare us
Yep.
to not be associated with Antifa.
yeah.
Never mind, Antifa
Yeah,
fights
that's-
against the
The
fascists.
Boogaloo Boys.
Yeah, Boogaloo Boys. Oh, God.
so is anybody writing anything about this being a distraction from what Trump should be doing, which is showing leadership around the COVID and
Well, anyone that's on CNN, this is what they
story for some reporter to follow this, that all this is a major distraction. I mean, every day there's a new thing with the Trump administration.
That's what he does.
But this is the latest. But somebody,
I really hope if we, hopefully when we get this, we win this election, that we will be able to put him directly in jail.
Okay, but see, Chris Wallace had an interview with him last weekend. And
We
he
saw that.
was talking to Donald about basically how things were going. And Donald went back to Biden over and over again and said basically that Biden is a nothing and he's doing what he's told by the left people. Now here's the situation. I believe he's giving a key to us because I believe Donald Trump is being told what to do by the right-wing people.
Yes.
and Putin.
And Putin, and he's doing these things deliberately to confuse, frustrate, and scare us.
And if you're history, generally when he says something, it has to do with something he is doing.
Yes.
He's
yes.
always broadcast.
Whatever he's doing on the other person. And that has been seen over and over and over.
Right.
How
Right.
concerned are you with intervention into our election from foreign entities, especially through the social media?
Well, actually, if we do voting by mail, I don't see how they can interfere.
They
are
can
going to
interfere.
I'm sure they think of a way.
One of
This
his
is what
buddies,
they
one of his
do.
buddies is a postmaster.
This is
Yes,
this
and
is
they're
how-
trying to destroy it.
They could steal,
Correct.
steal the ballots.
But I think they can interfere in other ways too by sending out misinformation. What they do is, what they have done is they send out like funny emails. So people subscribe to get the funny stuff because they like to laugh and they like, we like stupid stuff. And they're not coming out and saying who they are. I mean, they're coming out on a different name. And then when they get all these folks responding, they got all these people's attention, then they start slipping in the political stuff between the funny emails, like how to clean your toilet with Coca-Cola, for example.
Could I tell you something that I heard last week? I was on a training actually with the Biden campaign. And what they're training people to do is to immediately respond to negative tweets so that they will, and try to get more and more followers so that they get out the truth fast. They want them to do it immediately. This will help.
Exactly.
This will help, Rosamond.
Yeah, because that would be my concern, because what that might do is keep away first-time voters.
Yes.
Right.
I'm not worried about the voters who will well, then I know I'm a Democrat. I know I'm going to vote Democratic, da, 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 da. I'm not worried about those. I'm worried about those who are first-time voters who are not sure where they want to be, or they may not like Trump, but then they hear this and they hear that. You know, it's just like we were hearing all kinds of crap about Hillary, and we didn't think what the price, what the cost of that media, social stuff would be to her. But it was very detrimental, even to today.
Yes.
Even to today. You can't say, I think I would be very afraid if I were Biden for her to say, I support Biden, because that turns off a whole lot of people when that happens. So she has become like an albatross in the Democratic Party right now. I could
They did a survey of people who liked Trump, and it was 50% of people would never vote for Trump. But they also found that they surveyed Biden, and something like 46% of people would never vote for Biden. You know, so it's trying to diminish the brand.
Okay.
Any other comments about Portland?
Could I say a couple of things?
So,
This is Stan. Can you hear me?
yes.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. On the issue about well, one issue is what that was stated was, is it constitutional for the president to be using troops in this way? It absolutely is not. In fact, to make sure that that would not happen, they have they list the powers that the president has in the under the Article 2. That's the executive branch. And no, I'm sorry. They list the powers that the Congress has under the First Amendment, first article of the Constitution, and then it says that the powers that are not delegated to the Congress are left to the states, and that's the 10th Amendment in the Constitution. So only the states have police powers. Those are police powers. Trump has no police powers. If they can activate the National Guard if necessary for order in the country. But I think what he's doing, he's testing the limits. How much can he do?
Yeah.
How many cities can he go into? Can he get away with it? You know, if he can get away with it, he can develop
do more.
a very strong private police force. You know.
And you're
And you're breaking up.
Yeah, we're losing you.
We're losing you. I'm having
Speak
trouble.
louder.
You froze.
You're frozen.
Right.
And unmarked cars, but that's just happening. Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened.
Hey, Stan, try. That's better. Say something now.
All right, you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
We lost you for a while.
You're frozen.
Okay, so I'm very, can you hear me now, all right?
Yeah.
Better.
Okay, I don't know why it's not going through so well, but in any case, the other thing that I was concerned about is that with the voting, I went on. You can go online to the Board of Elections, the State Board of Elections, and they have a calendar that shows everything that's going to be happening and what dates, and they show when you can get absentee ballots or when the deadline by which you have to have written in to request an absentee ballot. All the dates are there in that calendar. So that's one thing.
They make it more complicated than that.
So if that's the case, why isn't the Congress now trying to say that Trump is overstepping his actual boundary?
Yes, good question.
Well, I mean, they are saying it. I heard Chuck Schumer say it today. I heard Nancy Pelosi say it yesterday, but they can't do anything by themselves.
Right.
Even if they passed a law, it would take a while for it to go into effect, and the election will be over by then. So really the only thing to do is to get him out of there and to change the Senate. So
That's the only way. He's just, this is how a bully behaves.
Right.
And he doesn't ask permission or look into whether the Constitution, he just goes ahead and does it. And then everybody, of course, gets all upset, and he encourages this rage, and he just lives by the fighting amongst, you know, the two parties. He just thrives on it. This is the only way. We just got to get rid of him. Got to get him out of there. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Alan-
Mary L. Trump is an excellent witness to history, and I believe her totally. Does anybody else? Right? Raise your hands. Yes,
There's a
I
book.
see.
Yeah, I believe.
And the thing is, she has said exactly what his father did and how he did it to his family. And he had no compulsion or any morals in trying to be a decent man. And of course, when they asked Donald Trump, he hardly knew his niece. Now, isn't that a recurring theme? He hardly knows all these people who talk about him. Nobody he seems to ever, all the pictures of them waving together, he didn't know that person.
Unfortunately, the wrong people are not the people that we'd like to read this book. They're not reading it.
Alan, I have a question for you about Trump. In normal times, would it be the Attorney General that would step up and tell him he was out of bounds, that he was doing something he's not legally able to do, Trump?
Attorney General works for him, so
I know this in this case, but would they point that out?
they would point. They could point it out. They could point it out. Inspector Generals would do that too, and none of that stuff is working right now. It's really the press who's has the biggest bully pulpit for this stuff.
I think the thing that we find out now is just how fragile our democratic system is.
Absolutely.
If someone wants to push the limits, you can push the limits, and you fall within the seams, and then you can't. There's nothing you can do about it because you depend on people with a moral compass, with men of goodwill or women and whoever is in there. You expect that they are decent, and we are not prepared for an amoral, indecent person to be president.
So the only recourse is to vote somebody out. There's nobody that can ever stop Trump. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Almost, right? That's as hard as that is to say. I think that's true.
The Republicans could have worked, the Senate could have worked with the Congress.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
but they didn't.
We don't have that. We don't have a functioning government right now.
Well, remind the people who are actually carrying out his orders that if, they could prosecute it if he loses the election, and there's a good chance of that happening. So, I mean, do they want to end up in the Nuremberg trials? I mean, these guys, somebody's got to tell these people that, because there's a strong possibility that they may be in jail, but might put the head of the Border Patrol in jail for allowing it to happen.
We still have 4 more months. I mean, is he going to have these Gestapos out picking people up for another 4 months, and we just wring our hands and say there's nothing we can do?
Well,
we
he's threatening to go to major cities, such as Chicago.
And Baltimore. He said Baltimore.
He wants to be president for
Well,
life.
the ACLU has we don't know how those court cases are going to be seen or handled, but suits have been filed, and and that's our only recourse lately has been through the courts.
Well, the courts think they appeal it, and then they stretch it out for 6 months to a year.
Right, exactly.
It's not. Your point, the original point was how fragile the system is.
Yeah.
You've got a headstrong executive. There's not too much you can do about it.
Actually, today I listened to the Women's Democratic Club. The key speaker was Kristen Clark, who's the executive director. You probably know who she is, of the Lawyers Committee on Civil Rights. And she was very interesting. And apparently they're filing several suits now about all this. So this is a good segue to getting out the vote. And that takes us to the postcard project. And Alan, I'm leaving Maryland after the postcard project because we're getting into this is a good segue from Portland to how do we get out the vote, and one way is the postcard project. So who brought that one up?
Me.
Okay, you want to talk about it?
Sure. I have to tell you that I was on 2 Zoom calls. One of them was with Stacey Abrams, and the other one was with various candidates. And the whole message is you have to get the down ballot. You have to win back the state houses, because that is who stops people like Stacey Abrams getting elected. She said if we had more Democrats in the delegate and we had more Democrats in the Senate, I would be the governor. And the other people said that they had lost their races because of gerrymandering of their, and now there are 4 women and that we heard on Sunday running in North Carolina. We were trying to get the postcard for them. And we also heard 2 women and 2 men in Pennsylvania. And I have postcards, 280 of them, for this woman. Can you see it?
No.
Hold it over.
Put it over.
Put it in the middle.
Okay, now we can see it.
Okay, all right. So I heard her. She is from Lancaster County, and I have 280 postcards, and she feels she has a very good chance. She's a native of Lancaster County. She said their population is changing. She is very, very interested in doing things for education and the environment. She sounds like a very good candidate, and her messages were not really long, so they might be easier. Did I show you the way the postcards?
Okay.
You see
Yeah.
that you see that they because Sandy Zimmett was doing somebody else in Pennsylvania, and she didn't have enough room to get all this message on. So her things are about 3 or 4 sentences. So anybody that would like to do postcards, I will be glad to drop them off. Dio wants some, and
I want some, Rosie.
I'll pick them up from
Rosie,
you.
me too.
Okay.
I want some.
Me too.
Okay, terrific.
We probably all want some.
Okay, then we'll make sure you get some, okay? All right, terrific.
Yeah.
So that's great. Anybody else want to talk about postcards?
I'm gonna try and get some postcards for Mark Kelly also for Arizona, because my grandkids live there.
That'd be
I
good.
don't know.
He's going to win. He's going to win. That woman in Kentucky needs some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince McConnell.
Yeah, the other candidate
Absolutely.
support is Jamie Harrison, South Carolina.
Right.
Yeah.
He looks
Amy-
pretty good.
Amy McGrath.
Amy
Yeah,
McGrath.
Lindsey
It's
Graham.
Kentucky.
Who's the one in Maine?
Sarah Gideon?
Sarah Gideon.
Thank you, yeah.
She's doing actually pretty well. Any other comments about postcards or getting out the vote? So
I have two.
you wanna-
Question, how about Katie Porter? I keep getting email that she's
Me
not.
too. Yeah.
Is she one we should be concerned about? She's good.
California
Is very good.
Yeah, she's from Irvine.
Yeah, but she was in a all Republican area, and so hers is an upset. So it's not one. I mean, she's going to
That's
have
right.
a hard fight.
That's right, yeah.
So should we be looking at her too?
Yeah, I think maybe.
She has, I thought, made a difference to the
Yeah.
Congress.
Yeah, she has. Her questioning was just
I know, and
awesome.
she's put herself out there. I think we should support her if we have.
All right, let me just back up a minute. I would say that these other candidates are far more important because California has a hell of a lot of Democrats, and they will see that she gets there. I would say that it's very nice to help. I would send her money, but I think that we should concentrate elsewhere.
Okay, that's a good
They're
point.
very active.
She's actually from Irvine, which has a university. I actually have a niece that lives there, and they're very supportive of her. So
I have nieces that live there too. Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. So maybe
we
we ought to
have,
decide who
we
we're.
have a database with the addresses. So when somebody gets some cards, they know who to send them to and not to send them to a card to somebody else. So we
Oh.
have,
We have
we have that.
I can get a list of all the websites for them.
Huh?
And then I think what you need to do is you need to go to the individual websites, and then they give you ways to text and send letters and to do other things, give money. Give money.
Yes.
Basically, yes.
Money.
So Rosie, how do we get the actual cards? How did you get your cards?
Well, I went to a lady's house in Kensington, and she has them out on her porch, and we're one of 3 groups, and I'll get more from her, you know, later on. But and
What's her
especially
name?
Eden.
Eden, okay.
She lives on off of Washington in Kensington.
Okay. But there is another one in Bethesda, Cindy Dench.
No, it was Rockville.
So when, do we want to give ourselves a timeline when we're going to get started with these postcards?
Let's try to do it this week. I'll start dropping them off.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds great. If you need some
No.
help,
I'll
Okay.
help you drive them around, Rosie, or be at your house when people could come at a certain time to pick them up, or something. We could organize it and hand them out.
Okay.
To more than one person.
So
I'd like
Rosie,
it so I can complete it by
didn't
the
we do this
weekend.
once before, Rosie, where we dropped off, I think we did this once before, where we dropped off postcards, different places. I remember working with you on that.
Well, I don't expect her to come out to Potomac, so maybe I can meet
No,
you.
we can all go to her house at a certain time, or I'll help
Okay.
you deliver them, Rosie.
Okay.
You just let us know, Rosie, when you
Okay.
pick them up.
Why don't all those that want them email me, and then we'll and say what time would be okay for you. You know, maybe we have tomorrow's Wednesday, the next day is Thursday. I assume that maybe we could do it Wednesday, Thursday, one of those days.
Yeah.
Preferably not when we're doing the Zoom classes. We do a Zoom class at noon or at 12:30. But before. Sure.
Or,
Fabulous. Okay.
well,
Sounds like good.
what about Saturday for people that have the weekend free, or?
Saturday,
Doesn't matter.
Saturday works and Sunday works. Sunday, we do have this Montgomery County online Biden rally.
Yeah.
And, we can talk about that. But want to get back, Alan, do you want to talk about Marilyn Pierre for judge?
Yeah.
Sure. So as you know, Marilyn Pierre came in 3rd in the Democratic primary, so she's going to be on the ballot in November. There'll be the 4 sitting judges for Ann Marilyn.
I read that.
Name is still going to be listed at the end, alphabetic. We were pleasantly surprised that she did so well.
Yeah.
A fraction of the money that the sitting judges had.
Yeah, that was good.
And this is sort of a battle for the ages, because anybody who wins it basically is going to get $1 million, $1.5 million, because it's a 15-year term. They get paid more than $100,000. So the sitting judges are going crazy.
I bet they are.
Wow.
Because nobody's going to slide right into that seat.
That's right.
Yeah.
So right now, a couple of the judges are worried because Marilyn did so well. She's not going to have enough money to compete with the sitting judges. So she's created a campaign committee of about 30 people. She's divided up into committees on message, social media, fundraising, and events. Not really much time before we actually start voting. Somebody very cleverly suggested an idea called Maryland Mondays. So every Monday between now and Election Day, we're going to try the largest group possible to sort of post social media graphics that have her picture, basically says Marilyn Pierre for judge, and maybe a bullet point that says that she was she's an Army vet, that she practiced for 28 years, that she was the head of a bar association.
Can you email us that little blurb, and we'll see if we can put out some.
Yeah, so I'll put all of you on the list for Maryland Mondays, and do the best you can. Also put a note that says that
that's good.
Please share, but if we could get a couple hundred people, and every Monday they were flooding the waves, the internet with these pictures of her, at least people will know about her when they go
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
see her on the
Yeah.
ballot.
And her name will be familiar.
And she has a lot to do. You know, she's a Haitian immigrant, and the Haitian community
Mm.
really know that she was running, so they have to sort of energize that
Mm.
community. There's probably, you know, 10, 15,000 Haitians in Montgomery,
Mm.
maybe more. Maybe the
Oh.
Caribbean community will get excited about it. Hopefully women and other communities of color will sort of adopt her candidacy and try to get her across the finish.
Mhm.
So I was on a Zoom with them on Sunday afternoon. The other thing I wanted to remind everybody was that Progressive Legacy is now a co-sponsor of the Montgomery County online rally for Joe Biden, which is this.
Yay! Bravo!
That's great.
I mean, so it was
Very nice.
it's pretty easy for me to get us on the list.
Yes, bravo! Wonderful.
But most of the Democratic clubs are listed as co-sponsors. Maryland Women for Biden, all the Biden delegate candidates are doing that. All of the county council, most of the state delegation, the county executive, Brian Frosch and Chris Van Hollen, we're continuing to build up this list.
Good.
Susan Lee just contacted me, and she wants to be along with the Coalition of Asian Pacific People.
Yes, they're powerful.
We'd like to get a lot of people on the call on Sunday. Usually these Zoom calls go up to 100. We bought extra space for 500. So
Wow.
I'm hoping that
Okay.
this Montgomery County rally for Biden will get more than a couple hundred people.
It's marvelous, yes.
Our
Well, I
speaker,
already registered, and I don't know how many others did.
Oh, I registered a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
so some of the our speakers right now we're going to have the head of the Greater Silver Spring Democratic Club, a guy named Derek Neighbors, kick it off. He's going to introduce Linda Foley, who's the chair of the Montgomery County Party. She's going to introduce Yvette Lewis, who is the chair of the state party and the chairman of the Biden delegation.
Yvette Lewis.
To the National Convention. And then he's going to introduce a state senator from Prince George's County named Jim Rosapep, who's the chair of Maryland for Biden. He's going to introduce Jamie Raskin. Then we're still waiting to nail down a Biden surrogate. Jamie was saying that he was going to get this guy from Louisiana named Cedric Richmond, African-American congressman from Louisiana, and he's a national co-chair of the Biden campaign. So that could be it, and hopefully the whole thing will be over in an hour. And at the end, we'll ask everybody to go to the Biden website and they can sign up to do text messages and calls. There's some sort of, do action thing at the end of that. So if you all can help us get the numbers out, and I'll send around another announcement of this, send it out to your friends. Everybody on this call is pretty well, is an activist and pretty well what's going on in politics. But if there's some other people who you might find it interesting, please send it to them.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us know about Maryland. That was very insightful. Thank you.
So are there any other items to cover before we plan our next get-together? We covered the agenda. I think Alan just talked about the Sunday event. If you haven't registered, please do so.
Continue to support Dr. Webb.
Right.
Hey guys, that's my cousin.
Oh, really?
Oh, really, Andy, how wonderful.
Who said that, Andy?
We loved him.
I know. I was so sorry I wasn't on. I couldn't be. I wasn't on that. So
We do have a recording, and you can see it. We recorded it.
I want to thank.
Oh, I did. I watched it.
Oh, good.
I did. Yes, I did watch it. Thank you for recording it. It was
That was our good friend Alan who did that.
right. Well, yeah, that was good.
I would like to thank whoever did that, because for me, even though I missed the meeting, I was able to go back and listen. And ironically, my daughter and I had been talking about him all the time. This good carpenter, he's so brilliant, you know, and his wife is brilliant, and he's got such good policies and so on. And my daughter has been sending him little pittance here and there, you know. She's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, bravo.
Wow.
I had to show my face and make sure I sent something so I can say, well, I sent something too.
I sure did. I thought
I did too. He sold us all. I did too. The next day, I had it in the mail.
Definitely a winner.
And I said, saw you at the Progressive Legacy, you know.
Yeah, excellent.
We have some housekeeping to schedule the next meeting and who will facilitate it, because we're rotating this. Okay, so we said we'd do this every 2 weeks. So that would take us to, I guess, August 4th.
My daughter's birthday.
So do you want to change the date?
Leo.
No, it's fine.
What do you think? Does that date work?
What day of the week is that?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, good.
Should we, Tuesday seems to work for everybody?
What's the date after the 4th?
What?
Yeah.
What's the date? What's the next meeting date after the 4th? I know we have comedians on this panel, but.
Is it always at 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I have another meeting at 7, but I can come at 6.
Right, and like I have one at 5, so that works for me too. So I just wait, you know, until 6. So will we use the same Zoom number?
Well, Alan will send us another invite.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what date did we decide on? Tuesday, August 4th? Where are we?
Yes, that sounds good. Very good.
August 4th.
I'll remember that, my daughter's birthday. And
August
Regan's.
4th. And Alan will be so kind to send us another invite. And who will be facilitating it?
Forget killing the bug.
Don't all answer at once.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Come on, Betsy.
Last time we had Keko and Dave.
I'm working, so between work, I don't have much time for.
All right.
I don't mind helping somebody out, but
I'll volunteer. Okay, I'll volunteer because I've usually not been at the meeting, so.
Okay, so Annie.
That's nice.
You can put me down for the meeting, the next meeting after the 4th.
Excellent.
And if you need help, let me know.
August 18th.
Okay, Betsy.
Thank you.
Okay, we can work together on that. And I'm going to have to leave. It was very nice seeing all of you, but I've got
Oh, it was great seeing you and Bob.
Bye.
Bye,
Bob.
Yes.
Bye, Bob.
Bye,
Stay
thanks for
safe.
coming.
Annie and Bob, great to see you.
Okay,
good to be here.
So we're not like, so
Bye.
we're
We're
not,
meeting Tuesday, August 4th at 6
6
o'clock.
o'clock.
And Annie is going to facilitate.
and so we're not likely to do one 2 weeks after that, because that's right in the middle of the
I
Democratic
was thinking that would be the
Convention starts on the 17th, which is my birthday.
we
can
should be
skip
watching
that.
it.
Hey, very good. Happy birthday.
Skip that one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So whose birthday is it?
It's going to be his birthday on the 18th.
Oh,
Oh,
Alan?
it's a lot of Leos.
Craig, we
My
can't,
daughter's birthday.
we
Hey,
can't
I'm
hear,
the 12.
I have some
we can't hear
breaking,
you.
I have breaking news out of Montgomery County. Following local health officials, Superintendent Jack Smith announced virtual only instruction through January 29th.
Bravo.
Oh, good. That's smart.
Good.
I also sent it my grandkids.
It's
Yeah, who
hard
wants to
to
send your
do
kids to
everything.
school now, right? Nobody does.
Yeah.
God, it's
Gonna
really,
get worse. Gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Right.
and we're about ready to have a storm. I just looked
Yeah.
at,
Yeah, we are.
already have it
here.
I can hear the thunder.
Yeah. I have left my
Okay.
stuff outside. I got to get it.
Motion
All
to,
right.
motion to
Good night,
adjourn.
everybody.
Stay well,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. Thanks,
Thank
Alan.
you.
Thanks for everything.
Bye.
appreciate
Bye.
that, Alan.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.